Hey guys, how's it going? It's Marcus Caber, and I just want to give you guys an update from my last video about Palantir stock and a few interesting things that we saw happen literally today, and a few things that I did personally. Did I buy more? Did I sell? Let's find out more right now. But before we get into this video, if you get any value from this content, don't forget to smash down on that like button. It really helps this content, helps other people see this video. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do, and I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so Palantir stock, did I sell? Did I buy more? So this was a very interesting scenario. I told you guys in my last update that this is kind of a tipping point that we're seeing right here, whether we're going to hold the line right here or we're going to go to the upside. And I talked about how, again, the scenario was that we could go lower. And I want to give the bear side and the bull side because no one knows what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I said my case that the technicals looked kind of bearish, but I personally thought there was a bullish case, and I thought that that was going to happen because I thought that the S&P 500 is going to go to 4,000, and with that, I thought that it was going to need tech to follow to give it that push upwards, and I thought that we might have an exhaustion with selling in the tech sector. And so here's the thing right now. I said in my last video that if we go below this line, basically we could see lower lows and I'd be a buyer. So what did I do today? Actually, I saw us go below this line here, and early in the morning, I think it was around $20. I think actually $21.10 exactly is where I bought more shares today. And I've been buying a lot of shares. I've been buying basically every day this week so far. So I am accumulating a significant amount of shares here. And I think that this is a pretty significant candle here. I think that we could have gone lower. We could have closed below this candle, and this was a perfect opportunity to finally break below this because we actually opened down here and we were way down here in the beginning of the day, but we decided to close above, and not only above but well above. This is kind of a indication that I feel like maybe we've bottomed here, and there's a few different reasons why it is possible. And this is mainly not necessarily a bottom, but this is maybe a local bottom. I think that we're going to push up in the next few days. Again, this is pure speculation. The technicals don't look so well in terms of the daily chart here, but what I'm seeing here is the trend that is happening right now in the tech sector. We're seeing a reversal, a broad reversal. It's not just Palantir alone. We can look at a few other names here, and just quickly going to the S&P 500 again, I'm seeing this to go to 4,000. And what we're seeing here on the technical is that's also speaking to this psychological 4,000 level that I feel like that we're trying to go to, is that we're kind of flagging in this bull flag pattern right here. And definitely the amplitude would say that we would definitely go to 4,000, if not higher. So I'm going to be targeting 4,000 in the immediate future to see where this is going to go. And that's kind of where I'm thinking we're going to go. And I don't think that we're going to blow through 4,000 when we get there. It is possible, especially with this setup. This technical setup is looking like we're going to kind of go pretty quickly and possibly skyrocket through some numbers. And the reason is we also have this catalyst. Again, the infrastructure bill might be the catalyst. Either we're running up to the news of that catalyst, or when the news comes out with the details of the infrastructure bill, maybe that gets us to break out of this pattern here of this bull flag basically and see where we go. So the thing is though, if we quickly just look at what has happened the last times we broke these kind of psychological numbers in the S&P 500, and well, this is the SPY ETF, but again, whenever we break, let's say we broke 3,000 for the first time, and in this case, when I say 3,000, really it's 300 here, right? So we're looking here. We get to 300, we break down. We get to 300 again, a little bit over, but we break down again. We have a hard time to get over 300. I don't think that we're going to see as dramatic of an example here like we did with 300 here, but let's look at 200. What happened when we were at 200? And I'm not exactly sure what happened, but my guess is basically we had a hard time breaking 200. Let's find out what happened. So we're looking at 200 right around here for the first time. So we get to 200 here. It looks like, let's see, what's going to happen here. So our first time getting to 200, was it over here? Oh yeah, so actually our first time getting 200 is actually over here. So we get to 200, we break down. We get back to 200, a little bit over again, and we break down. So we want to be mindful of this scenario here where we are getting to 200 and having a hard time getting over 200, just like we had a hard time, and even more of a hard time, getting over 300 And then similarly, we had a hard time, again, 300 over here, having a hard time. Similarly, we could have a hard time getting over 400 or the S&P 500 4,000 mark. So this is something that we want to be aware of, that 4,000 could be a tough number to go through, just looking at what happened with 300 and what happened with 200. But let's look at what's happening with the tech sector and why it looks like we might start to go to the upside. Apple, again, what I'm expecting with Apple is that we're just waiting here for this moving average to come up closer and closer. I'm not sure if we're exactly going to touch it necessarily, but we're making sure that we get closer to home base, basically, because the moving average, the 200 period moving average, is a home base that we like to go to every so often. And like clockwork, this likes to revisit the 200 period moving average. And so we're just doing that again at the moment here. We're revisiting this area before going off to the next area. So that's what's happening with Apple, and also with Tesla, a similar thing. We saw that this line of significance here, which we thought was significant, we did admit that maybe this line wasn't going to be as significant, but as we can see here, we barely closed basically right on this line here. And then finally today, the decision of whether we're going to go below this line or whether we're going to close above this line. We could have closed below this line very easily, but we chose not to. Similarly, like Palantir stock, we're seeing a trend with these tech stocks not breaking down. And this is positive news. And with Hyliion as well. Hyliion could have closed below this line. We opened above this line. We ended up going below this line intraday, but then we closed well above this line. So this is another indication, and Hyliion doesn't really necessarily impact the indices that much by any means, but it's an interesting thing just to be aware of. And I know some people like me to cover Hyliion stocks, so this is an interesting development that is happening with Hyliion. To be honest, I did pick up a couple options today when we were down here. I think Hyliion was around $10.19 is when I picked up a couple options to play this, just because it seemed like it was an exhaustive move, and I'd be surprised to see lower lows. We obviously could see lower lows, but I was thinking that it is possible that we see this turnaround because I have this picture of S&P 500 hitting 4K and being bullish, and tech being bullish for the short term, at least seeing this turnaround occur. And I've been bullish that this is kind of my bias of what's going to happen. So I think that we're seeing, again, I don't know, and this is just pure speculation. I don't know if the market's going to go up, go down. Nobody knows. And if I did know, I would just be making a lot of money every day and I wouldn't be making YouTube videos. So I don't know, but I have this bullish thesis of what's going to be actually happening, paired with these catalysts that we're seeing, and then also with the technicals that we're seeing across several different stocks. So today I kind of got the best of both worlds. I was able to buy below this line at this value. This is basically my value line. Anything below this would be amazing buys. And like I said in my last video, if you go below this line, I would want to be a buyer. So I did just that. I bought when we went below this line. And again, I think we're going to start to see something of an uptrend. And with whether this is going to be something long-term or this is going to be a short-term transition is yet to be seen, but it is something that I'm keeping my eye out for. And let me know if you guys think we're not going to hit the S&P 500 at the 4K mark. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And I hope you guys got some value from this content. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And keep in mind that none of this is financial advice. This is just some random guy on YouTube drawing some stick figure lines on a chart talking to you guys.